Apple has played it safe over the past few years, keeping the iPhone design largely the same, but this year they decided to shake things up with the monumental iPhone X, and this is my review. The iPhone X really is a beautiful piece of hardware. The stainless steel edge sandwiched by the two pieces of glass feels purely elegant in the hand. It has great weight to it in the hand, and it just screams quality. But the main attraction here is the screen, and what a screen it is. The iPhone X comes with a Super Retina display with a resolution of 2436 by 1125, and thankfully this year it's an OLED panel. The screen is amazing, colors pop, and the inky blacks provide an excellent contrast ratio. It gets relatively bright, although I did sometimes have trouble seeing it in bright sunlight. And the notch. Well, it wasn't a bigger problem as I first thought. Many of the apps that I use day to day have already been updated to support it, and in my opinion, the screen that flows around the edges in a nice curve and around the notch kinda looks a little futuristic. There's not a whole lot of devices out there that have that kind of weird screen design, and when you punch videos and images to full screen, it just looks good in my opinion. Moving on to the camera, or cameras. The iPhone X has a vertical dual camera setup sporting two 12 megapixel sensors, a wide angle lens with an aperture of 1.8 and a telephoto lens with an aperture of 2.4. And both of these have optical image stabilization, giving you better low light shots and better, smoother video. And the video capabilities are insane with this phone. Same as the iPhone 8 Plus, you can record at 1080p at 240 frames per second, which is an option that some high-end video cameras don't support at the moment. Photos from the iPhone X look great. They're clear, sharp and punchy, and the dynamic range is on point. The front-facing true depth camera has a 7 megapixel sensor with an aperture of 2.2, and thanks to all the new fancy sensors for Face ID, you can now use the portrait mode and lighting effects to up your selfie game. Results are a mixed bag. I have taken some good shots and some bad ones, but it's still plenty of fun to play around with, and it's only going to get better with time. Performance-wise, the iPhone X shares the same internals as iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, so you get crazy good performance. Multitasking is fast, apps load quickly, and AR apps run effortlessly here. And with the new gesture-based interface, everything just feels quicker than the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. There's something about not having to actually use force to go home by pressing a button that makes it feel just zippy. And from that performance, we head on to the battery life. Now, when I got this device, I was expecting the battery life to be incredible, but Apple has never really focused on battery life as a major feature, and it kinda shows with this device. On paper, this phone should actually have ridiculous battery life. It has a 2716 milliamp hour battery, which is larger than any other iPhone before it, and it has a power efficient OLED screen. But whether it's the fact that the screen is a higher resolution or the fact that Face ID is scanning your face quite frequently, the iPhone X only gets okay-ish battery life. I easily made it through a day with pretty heavy use, a lot of YouTube, social media, taking photos, watching videos, but I definitely would have to charge it at the end of the day, and if I had to go out after work, say after 6 PM, I would have to top it up for sure. But, you know, for what it is, it's definitely acceptable, and I don't see anyone blasting through this battery in a full day unless you are just watching videos non-stop. Now, with the display being edge to edge, obviously Apple had to throw away Touch ID, and the new form of security it came up with is Face ID. It uses a dot projector and some fancy sensors to take a 3D scan of your face and use that to authenticate the user. And for the most part, it works. There have only been a handful of times where it failed for me, and that was mainly in really bright scenarios where the sensors would have been distracted by the light. Better yet, every time Face ID fails, it actually takes another snapshot of your face to improve its detection. Unlocking the device is about as fast as Touch ID once you sort of get used to the way you hold the phone, but everything else, from pre-filling details in Safari to authenticating purchases, is just freakishly quick. Oh, and Face ID brings the ability for an emoji, which is kinda fun. In the end, it is still an iPhone, and it largely feels like one. The new gesture-based interface is super quick and intuitive, and all the things you expect to be great are camera, tick, screen, tick, performance, another tick. But in Australia, the baseline model is going to set you back almost $1,600, it's just crazy. And if you break it, well, that's going to set you back nearly $600. For those that want the latest in tech and the flashiest devices, well, obviously this is for you. it just screams quality. But for the average consumer, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are actually pretty good value considering they share many of the same features. Anyway guys, that's been my review of the iPhone 10. If you enjoyed it, then hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this one. And until the next one, see ya.